Scorpio, I need you to feel the weight of what I'm about to say. There's a debt you've been carrying for exactly 10 years. Not a financial debt, but something much deeper. A karmic account that has been clinging to your soul like invisible chains, preventing you from achieving everything you deserve. You know what I'm talking about. It's that weight you feel in your chest when you're alone. It's that feeling that, no matter how hard you try, something always holds you back a few steps from the finish line. It's that silent question you ask the universe in your darkest moments. When will it be my turn? On November 5th and 6th, 2025, this debt will be completely paid off, not partially, not gradually, totally, as if someone pressed a button and all the chains that bound you simply dissolved into thin air. And when that happens, you will feel a lightness you haven't experienced in a decade. You will breathe differently. You will wake up and realize that familiar weight that was always there simply disappeared. The universe has finally heard you. After all the silent pleas, after all the unseen tears, after all the nights you questioned whether it was worth continuing to fight, finally, you have been heard, and the answer is coming. Not in the way you expected, not at the moment you planned, but in a much more powerful and definitive way than you could have imagined. Can you feel something ancient within you preparing to be released? Scorpio, I know you've learned not to believe in promises. I know you've been disappointed so many times that you've built walls around your heart to protect yourself from more pain. I know you stopped waiting for miracles because it was easier not to wait than to wait and be crushed by reality again. But what I'm about to reveal isn't an empty promise. It's the inevitable conclusion of a cycle that began exactly 10 years ago. Think back to 2015. Go back to that moment in your life. Something happened that year that changed everything for you. It might have been a devastating loss. It might have been a betrayal that transformed you from the inside. It might have been a choice you made, believing you were doing the right thing, but that cost you more than you imagined. Whatever it was, it started an extremely intense and painful learning cycle. A cycle where you were tested in every possible way, where you were broken and had to rebuild yourself, where you descended into your own inner hells and had to find the strength to rise again. These past 10 years weren't random. They were a process of purification, transformation, death and rebirth repeated so many times you lost count. And with each rebirth, you became stronger, wiser, more resilient, but also more tired, more cynical, more disconnected from the hope you once had. The karmic debt you were paying was the admission fee to a level of personal power that few human beings achieve. But now, after a whole decade, the account is closed. You paid every cent of that debt with your pain, with your tears, with your emotional blood. Are you ready to finally receive what you bought at such a high price? On November 5th and 6th, 2025, something will happen that will physically, emotionally, and spiritually confirm that your time of suffering is over. It won't be a vague feeling or a subtle intuition. It will be a concrete, tangible, undeniable event. Something that will happen in your external life, that will reflect the liberation that is happening internally. For some Scorpios, it will be an opportunity that seemed impossible arising out of nowhere. For others, it will be the definitive end of a situation that kept them trapped. For still others, it will be an encounter or a revelation that will completely change the course of their lives. But for all Scorpios, without exception, these 2 days will mark the moment when the universe finally answers their requests with a resounding yes. Yes, you deserve to be happy. Yes, you deserve abundance. Yes, you deserve true love. Yes, you deserve recognition. Yes, you deserve peace. Yes, you deserve everything you fought so hard for, and that always seemed to slip through your fingers at the last minute. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, the settling of karmic debt will manifest primarily through the area of relationships and deep connections. You will finally attract or transform a relationship that reflects your true worth. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the focus will be on professional and material recognition. What you have worked for silently will finally be seen and rewarded. And for those born between November 13th and 21st, liberation will occur in the area of self-expression and personal power. You will finally allow yourself to be seen in all your intensity without fear or shame. What everyone will experience in common is an overwhelming sense of cosmic justice finally manifesting. You will feel that the universe hasn't forgotten you, that all the suffering had a purpose, that nothing was in vain. And this confirmation will heal wounds you didn't even know were still bleeding. Can you imagine what it will be like to wake up knowing you no longer have to fight against invisible chains? Scorpio, let me tell you what was really happening during those 10 years. While you thought you were just suffering, you were being forged, like raw metal that needs to go through intense fire to become a sword. Every hardship you faced removed impurities from your essence. Every betrayal you survived taught you to discern truth from lies. Every loss you endured showed you what truly matters. Every time you were knocked down and got back up, you became more powerful than before. The universe wasn't punishing you, it was preparing you, because what's coming into your life now after this debt is paid off on November 5th and 6th is so big, so powerful, so transformative, that you needed this preparation to be able to bear the weight of this blessing. If you had received it before, you might not have been ready to handle it, but now, after everything you've been through, you're not only ready, you're overqualified. The karmic debt you paid bought you something that can never be taken from you again. Profound wisdom about human nature, about yourself, about how the universe works. You learned lessons that others take several lifetimes to understand. You developed an inner strength that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. You gained a perspective on what truly matters in life that most people will never have. And now, with this solid foundation of wisdom and strength, you are ready to build something extraordinary. On November 5th and 6th, when the debt is paid off, it will not only be the end of a cycle of pain, it will be the beginning of a cycle of accelerated manifestation. Everything you desired but couldn't achieve during these 10 years will begin to flow into your life with an ease that will surprise you. As if the floodgates that were closed suddenly opened completely. The universe has finally heard you, and not just heard you, it has understood you completely. It has understood every unspoken request, every secret desire you kept deep in your heart, every dream you abandoned because it seemed impossible. And it is preparing answers for all of them, not partial answers or minimal concessions, complete, abundant, generous answers, because you deserve it after everything you've been through. But here's something crucial you need to understand. When the debt is paid off, you'll need to be willing to receive. And for someone who has spent 10 years learning to survive in scarcity, learning not to expect anything good, learning to protect themselves against disappointment, receiving abundance can be harder than you imagine. Your system will be programmed for struggle, for defense, for distrust. And you will need to consciously choose to let go of that programming to allow the blessing to enter. On November 5th and 6th, when opportunities begin to appear, when doors begin to open, when the right people begin to show up in your life, your first reaction may be distrust. You might think, this is too good to be true, or what's the catch? This reaction is understandable after everything you've been through. But you will need to recognize it for what it is, an outdated defense mechanism, and consciously choose to trust the new reality that is manifesting. Are you willing to let go of the identity of a suffering survivor and embrace the identity of being blessed and deserving? Scorpio, one of the most powerful things that will happen when your karmic debt is paid off is that you will finally understand why you went through everything you went through. The pieces of the puzzle will fit together in a way that will make perfect sense. You will look back and see that each event, however painful, was necessary to bring you to where you are now. and you will feel a deep gratitude for having had the strength to continue, even when everything inside you screamed to give up. The release that will happen in these days will be felt on multiple levels. Physically, you may notice that chronic pains or tensions you've been carrying simply disappear. Emotionally, you will feel a lightness and joy you haven't felt in years. Mentally, you will experience a clarity and creativity that were blocked. And spiritually, you will feel a renewed connection to something greater, a confidence that you are being guided and supported. What the universe wants you to know is this: you were never alone in this battle. Even when it seemed you had been abandoned, that nobody cared, that you were fighting alone against the whole world, there were invisible forces by your side, supporting you, giving you strength for another day, orchestrating events so that you would arrive at exactly this point. On November 5th and 6th, these invisible forces will become visible through concrete events in your life that will show you that you have always been loved, always cared for, always valued by the universe. Paying off your karmic debt will also bring about a profound change in your relationships. The people who were in your life only to teach you difficult lessons will naturally distance themselves, or your relationship with them will completely transform. And in their place, people who are at the same level of consciousness that you have reached will enter your life. People who value you, respect you, and genuinely support you. People with whom you can finally let your guard down and be vulnerable without fear of being hurt. For many Scorpios, these past 10 years have included profound betrayals from people they trusted, and these betrayals have created wounds that have affected their ability to trust in new relationships. On November 5th and 6th, you will receive confirmation that it is safe to trust again, not just anyone, but the right people the universe will place in your path. You will have clear discernment about who deserves your trust and who does not. Scorpio, what's happening to you isn't just about reward for suffering. It's about you finally embracing your true power. During these 10 years of paying off karmic debt, you've been prevented from accessing your full potential. It was as if there was a limiter on your energy, preventing you from fully manifesting your ability. On November 5th and 6th, this limiter will be removed, and you will discover that you have skills, talents, magnetism, and manifestation power far beyond what you imagined. This revelation of your true power can be intense. You will need to learn to handle levels of energy, intuition, and impact that you didn't have access to before. It's like you've been driving a car with the handbrake on for 10 years, and suddenly the brake is released. The acceleration will be dramatic. You will need to learn to calibrate this new power so as not to overwhelm yourself or those around you. The universe finally heard you because you were finally ready to be heard. For a long time, your requests came mixed with anger, resentment, and hopelessness, and the universe cannot answer requests made from these low frequencies. But recently, something changed within you. You began to accept what happened. You began to find peace, even in the midst of struggle. You began to feel gratitude, even for the pain. And when you reached this frequency of acceptance and gratitude, your requests could finally be heard clearly. On November 5th and 6th, the universe will give you clear and unmistakable signs that it has heard you. It could be through a conversation where someone says exactly what you needed to hear. It could be through an opportunity that is exactly what you asked for. It could be through an encounter that seems orchestrated by a higher intelligence. It could be through a series of coincidences so perfect that they will be impossible to ignore. Pay attention to these signs. Recognize them for what they are: direct confirmations from the universe that you have been heard and that your life is changing. Paying off your karmic debt will also bring about a profound reconciliation with yourself. During these 10 years, you probably blamed yourself a lot. You blamed yourself for the choices you made. You blamed yourself for not seeing certain things sooner. You blamed yourself for the suffering you went through. On November 5th and 6th, you will have a sudden understanding that there was nothing you could have done differently. Everything happened exactly as it needed to happen for you to become who you are today. and you will completely forgive yourself for everything you blamed yourself for. This self-forgiveness will be one of the most precious gifts of this karmic release, because while you carried guilt, you couldn't fully receive the abundance the universe wanted to give you. Guilt created an energetic blockage that prevented manifestation. But when you forgive yourself completely, this blockage will dissolve, and you will become an open channel to receive all the good that is coming your way. Scorpio, during the weeks leading up to November 5th and 6th, you may experience an intensification of emotions. Old memories may resurface. You might feel waves of sadness or anger seemingly without reason. Don't be alarmed by this. It's the release process already beginning. Your system is releasing all the repressed emotions of these past 10 years so that you can enter this new phase completely clean and renewed. Allow yourself to feel these emotions without judgment. Cry if you need to cry. Scream if you need to scream. Write if you need to process through words. Talk to someone you trust if you need to verbalize. Don't repress anything, because every emotion you allow to come out is more space being created within you to receive the blessings that are coming. Specifically on November 5th and 6th, try to make space in your schedule to be present with whatever is happening. No elaborate rituals or special practices are necessary. Simply being aware and present is enough. Observe what is happening around you, what is happening within you, who appears in your life, what opportunities arise, what insights you have. Everything will be meaningful. The feeling you'll have when you realize your karmic debt has been paid is indescribable. It's like carrying a heavy backpack for hours and finally being able to take it off your back. That moment of relief, of lightness, of finally, but multiplied 1,000-fold. You'll feel like you can breathe fully for the first time in 10 years. You'll feel like you can dream again without fear of disappointment. You'll feel like you can trust again without fear of betrayal. You'll feel like you can love again without fear of being hurt. And the most beautiful thing of all, you will feel that you can be yourself again. During these 10 years, you probably closed yourself off emotionally to protect yourself. You created armor around your heart. You hid your vulnerability under layers of cynicism and distrust. On November 5th and 6th, you will be allowed to take off that armor, to be gentle again, to be hopeful again, to be open again, because the danger has passed, the test is over, the battle has been won. Are you finally ready to live the life you've always deserved? If this message reached you, it wasn't by chance. It's because you are energetically attuned to this karmic release that is coming. Share in the comments if you can identify what happened 10 years ago that started this cycle. Sometimes verbalizing is part of the release process, and your experiences can help other Scorpios recognize their own patterns. Subscribe to the channel now, because what will happen on November 5th and 6th is just the beginning of a completely new phase of your life. You will need guidance on how to navigate this new reality, how to deal with abundance after so much scarcity, and how to maintain the high frequency you will achieve. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any guidance that can support you in this transition. Remember, your 10-year karmic debt has been paid. You passed the test, you proved your worth, you earned your place in the sun. On November 5th and 6th, 2025, the universe will officially confirm that you are free. And from then on, nothing will ever be the same again. Prepare to receive everything you always deserved, but that was being withheld until you were ready to bear the weight of this blessing.